Hey, MBCC kids, welcome to another Sunday with us. Happy 4th of July weekend. I hope you're all doing something really fun, even if it's at home. You're wearing some red, white, and blue and celebrating America. But we are glad to have you back with us this morning. Today we're going to be in 1 Samuel 24, and we are talking about David and Saul. And if you remember Cameron, she taught y'all a few weeks ago about King Saul. And he was the first king chosen. The Israelites were begging for a king. God gave them what they wanted, but Saul didn't obey. Even though he was giving sacrifices, that's not what the Lord asked. He wants our obedience even over our works and our sacrifices. And so because Saul didn't obey, he can no longer be king. And Cameron taught you that. And then this past week, Lauren taught you about one of my favorite stories in the Bible, David and Goliath, where the underdog, David, was chosen to beat Goliath. Out of all of Jesse's sons, he was the youngest, and he was chosen to be the next king. And they asked who could defeat, and he said, I can do it. And the youngest, the smallest, he picked 5 smooth stones and used one and hit Goliath and killed him. And it is just the story of such might and power that God can use anybody. Well, now David's our king, so we pick up the story in 1 Samuel 24. David and Saul are very close. I want you to know this. When Saul was king, and even soon after David got to be king, David would play the lyre, which was an instrument. He was very, very musical. He wrote a lot of our psalms. And he would play the lyre to help Saul feel better if Saul was sick. And David was best friends with Saul's son, Jonathan. And David married one of Saul's daughters. So that's how close they are. Well, as David began to fight in these battles and win battle after battle because he was one with the Lord, he was doing exactly what the Lord wanted him to do. Because he was winning these battles, Saul was so jealous and just angry. He just got super angry. And he didn't want David to be getting all these accolades and doing so well. It just made him angry and jealous, which is sad because they were so close. And then he wanted to have him killed. Saul wanted to have David killed. So David had to go away. And in fact, at the time he knew that Saul was trying to kill him, he had a lot of men gather with him. And God kind of surrounded him with other men, 400 to be exact, who were in the same type boat, who just wanted to be with David and knew that David was following the Lord, and also had just come from different situations, maybe hard situations. They joined David. So he had 400 men with him. Well, God called him back to Moab, and David's going, Saul's trying to kill me. Why am I going there? But God said, I will be with you. I'll protect you. I'll even give him over to you. So David's like, okay. So David and his men go to hide in this cave. Now think of a dark cave, okay? They're hiding in this cave, and all of a sudden Saul has to go to the restroom. So Saul leaves his group and goes to this dark cave. Well, there he is right there. He doesn't know David's right there with all those men. So David right there had a chance to kill Saul. And you know what? His heart was so good that he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. So you know what he did? He wanted to prove to David wanted to prove to Saul that he wasn't trying to hurt him. So David went and cut a piece of Saul's robe. He had a white robe on. And David cut a piece of his robe, and Saul never knew it. He never saw him. And he kind of backed away. Well, then Saul left the cave and started going away, and David ran after him, and he said, Saul. And here's Saul, and Saul had 3,000 men after David, and David kind of bowed down and said, Saul, what are you doing? Why are you believing these men who are telling you that I'm trying to hurt you? I'm not trying to hurt you. I never would hurt you. And he said, look, I'm even going to prove it to you. So David pulled out that piece of white robe that he had cut off. He said, look, I had a chance to kill you earlier, and I didn't do it, and I'm proving it to you. I'm showing you this white robe right here to show you that I cut some of your robe off, and I had the chance to kill you, and I didn't do it. And Saul started weeping. He started crying. And he said, I can't believe that you didn't hurt me. I can't believe that you would do that. You really are such a good, honest man, and you love the Lord, and you're following God. You are who is supposed to be king. And Saul just broke down because he was thinking, it just hit him. What am I doing? What in the world am I doing? I've been trying to hurt and kill this person who's loved me the whole time. He had the chance to kill me, and he didn't. And he was proving at that moment to Saul that he was an awesome person and that he was who God wanted him to be and that he was going to follow God's plan. God even offered Saul up to David, and David didn't do it. So Saul said, please don't hurt me or my family, and please let me go along my way, and just felt horrible that his intentions were never good, because David showed mercy to Saul. Now, y'all, that word mercy we're showing somebody forgiveness, and we're showing somebody patience when we could be fighting them, going after them, being really ugly. Maybe you're really frustrated at a friend. Maybe you're really mad. Maybe they hit you first. Maybe they took one of your toys. Maybe your sibling took the last cookie that was supposed to be yours, and you had every right to get really mad and yell at them, or maybe even, I wouldn't suggest hitting them, but maybe you could have done something like that. But showing them mercy is showing forgiveness and not doing any harm. It's you have an opportunity to do something, but you're choosing not to do it. That's giving somebody mercy. And in this story, David is giving Saul mercy because he had every opportunity to kill him and hurt him, knowing that Saul was after him with all these men. And I just think it's such a good thing for us to remember in this story how we can be like this story. You guys, right now, we need to be showing kindness and mercy and grace to everybody. People might be sad or mad that they're not able to go somewhere, or mad or sad they're not able to see their friends, or come to church, or go to school, or do these things that we would normally be doing that hopefully we'll get to do soon. But it's choosing to be kind to people when you don't feel like it. It's choosing to be nice when you don't feel like it. I don't always feel like being kind, especially if somebody's been mean to me first. And heaven forbid if somebody's trying to kill me, like Saul was trying to kill David. But for us to have a heart like God, like David did, to just show him, to show grace and show mercy and forgiveness and be kind no matter how other people are treating you. We have such a lesson to learn in that right now. And you guys, David, even when he was hiding from Saul, he even wrote a psalm about that. It's Psalm 57. If you read that, go read Psalm 57. It's the song he wrote when Saul was after him. And he's pleading with God to keep him safe. And for him to be able to show mercy and to help him in the midst of being scared and afraid. David always leaned on the Lord. He didn't take matters into his own hands. He didn't take something and throw it when he got mad. He didn't hit somebody because they hit him first and they did something to make them mad. We need to learn to stop giving excuses. Well, we did it because they did it. And learn to be more like the Lord. And I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to you. We need to give mercy and show grace and show love, just like King David showed Saul. This is such a good story for us, you guys. And I pray that you will see that. And how it connects with Jesus. Remember, Jesus died on the cross for our sins. And not just the good people that aren't showing their sins all the time. We're all sinners in need of a Savior. Jesus died for each and every one of us. We're all sinners. He died for the people that loved him, and he also died for the people that hated him. Jesus died for his enemies, and he showed mercy to those that were spitting on him because he was pleading with God to please allow them to go to heaven too if they can trust in him. So I want you to make that connection that David, years before Jesus even came, was listening to God so well that he's doing the one thing that Jesus came later to do, was show mercy. And we can show mercy. And you guys, I love this story. I love the story of David and Saul. I love that enemies can become friends again too. And that things can be hurtful and harmful, but we have a God who loves us so much that we know forgiveness, we know grace, and we know mercy. And so you guys, that's how this story ended, was David for just telling Saul, I'm not going to hurt you. Forgiving him. Saul crying and weeping, seeing how David acts. We can bring other people to Jesus just by our actions to show that we're different. To show that we love a God and serve a God who loves us no matter what. And we can show that grace and mercy to people, and they're going to see that we're different. So my prayer is that after hearing this story and watching this story in a minute on the Gospel Project video, that you guys will want to be different, that you're going to want to have a heart like David's. He was the smallest, but he was the toughest, and he had the heart and the mind for God, and so God used him in mighty ways, as we've seen the past few weeks. So I pray that you will know God can use you no matter how small you are, or how big you are. God can use you in so many ways. Don't let, because you're young, hold you back. And let's remember to show kindness and grace and mercy just like David did to Saul. And let's bring others to Christ just in the way that we live our lives, even if we're not speaking. I pray that we will want to speak and want to share the life of Jesus and how he died on the cross and gave us that same mercy. I hope you guys have a great day. Watch the Gospel Project video and keep worshiping. And we love you guys tons. Have a great weekend.